But yeah, so let's talk about the debate. Let's actually do that. And no other better way to talk about the full context of the debate than talk about the highlights. And by highlights, I mean highlight, right? Smia Corin in the chat says, "I thought sure Pence didn't have any black friends. Then the fly showed up." Okay, it was actually really funny. When Mike Pence he was just talking about whatever, right? He was just doing the whole thing, and he just decides, oh wait, what do I do? Oh, I know. I'm gonna mention Senator Tim Scott, who I believe is the only black Republican senator, and he mentioned Tim Scott during the Black Lives Matter conversation. It was just about coronavirus and how it's killing people, and it was just really funny. So Mike Pence definitely did bring out the oh yeah, we have one black senator card, and I don't think anyone registered that one. But yeah, Mike Pence had a fly land on him. I didn't notice it. I thought it was like a fly on our television screen, and then as soon as I started checking Twitter, because every once in a while someone leaves the door open, right, and a fly gets in, right. So I thought a fly literally legit landed on the television screen, and then I start seeing flies trend on Twitter, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really, really funny, and this is another thing that came out during the debate. During the debate, Joe Biden decided, I guess, I don't know if Joe Biden decided it, but some very intelligent intern on the Joe Biden campaign decided, yes, this is a moment where we can capitalize. This is a moment where we can take advantage of the social media marketplace here. And so Joe Biden posted this tweet. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And then they took the joke a little too far, I think. But they're now selling fly swatters. I think that's taking the joke a little too far. I think they're like, okay, we have something good, now let's milk it to death, right? But it's still really funny. So shout outs to Joe Biden. But as far as the debate goes, right, let's just have this open. Because I don't have any clips. I'm just going to give you my reactions from what I can remember last night. Now, again, my favorite moment of the debate was when Kamala Harris name dropped Infrastructure Week. Still waiting on that one, by the way, Trump. I know it's been a couple years. I know you got bogged down. There's some stuff going on. I get you. But if we can get some Infrastructure Week stuff going on, that would be great. But yeah, I think personally, and I did a whole live tweeting thread that I think 3 people may have read. But I think Kamala Harris did absolutely fantastic in this debate. And I don't like Kamala Harris. That needs to be underscored. I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. I'm not at all, right? But her debate performance, it was a little shaky in the first 30 minutes. You could tell she was a little nervous, right? You could tell she was kind of choking up a little bit. She couldn't really but after she got her kind of after the adrenaline started to kick in, I suppose, she did a really, really, really good job. And again, I don't like Kamala Harris. I don't. I'm not a fan of her. I brutally mocked her at every step of the way in the primary, and I still brutally mock her whenever she does something cringe, and she does that very often, by the way. I just want to say, Kamala Harris and I agree on one thing, that Tupac is the greatest rapper alive, and with that being said, she did a really good job. And that really goes to show, okay? My thing going into this debate was that Mike Pence is the human form of oatmeal. This guy is not a real person, and his debate performance showed that. He's not a real person. He is a drone. Now, whether or not he has his own ambitions, yeah, sure, you can see him grinning while looking at President Trump unable to breathe, right? But the thing is, Pence is a soldier of God, a soldier of Christ, or whatever version of Christ he pretends to believe in, and that's what he is, right? So he had his marching orders. His marching orders were do nothing controversial. This is basically Mike Pence's job at the debate was actually kind of like Joe Biden's job on this election season. Do nothing controversial, say nothing controversial, just keep up with what we've got and just get through the night. And that's what Mike Pence did. He lied and dodged every single question. Every single question. And Kamala Harris has a giant red flag, right? Her prosecutorial record, right, in California is not good. And she has a lot of votes in the Senate that are not good. And if the game, right, is to suppress the vote for Democrats, which let's be honest, Trump has no other path to victory in this election. And I'm saying the election, not cheating in the aftermath. But as far as the election goes, Donald Trump has no path to victory other than suppress and depress the Democratic electorate. And there's so many giant fucking gaping red flags in Kamala Harris's prosecutorial record and her Senate voting record. And Mike Pence decided to focus on the USMCA? What? One of the very few good votes that Kamala Harris has cast in the Senate? And that's what Mike Pence decides to focus on for way too long? It was bizarre. It was really, really, really bizarre, right? And then you have Kamala Harris on the other hand. And I watched this debate with my family. My family who has never, they didn't even watch the Trump Biden debate. Now, I told them about it, but I wanted to stream that. But this one is like, it's lower key, so like I don't necessarily mind missing the stream for it and just watching it with the family, right? So it was kind of like in that gray area where it's like, fuck it, whatever. I'm probably not going to go watch. If Trump Biden 2 happens, I'm not going to watch that with them. I'm going to watch it up here on a broadcast, right? But they did not watch the Trump Biden debate, but they watched this one with me. They bared with me. And basically, what resonated with them, and I'm going to use them as a bear weather here, or bellwether, whatever the term is. What resonated with them the most is Kamala Harris, right, routinely and consistently turned back all the lies against the administration. Because again, Donald Trump and Mike Pence, they're doing this thing where they're running as if they're not president or vice president. They're running as if Obama is still president. They're doing this law and order thing even though they're president and they're not doing law and order. They're doing this, but the deep state, even though like, it's their deep state, right? They appointed everyone. So it's like, it's really strange. And Kamala Harris really laid that out throughout a majority of this debate. It was really, really well done. And again, I'm not a Kamala Harris fan, and I want that to be underscored. But like again, when she had this moment when she was when Pence, who by the way shouted himself out as the leader and head of the coronavirus task force. That's something that you don't want the American people to know. Oh yeah, you know what? This is your grandma died because of my leadership on the coronavirus task force. But he shouted himself out, right, as the head of the coronavirus task force. And then Kamala Harris shortly afterward used that opportunity and said, whatever y'all are doing, clearly it's not working. And that resonated with people in my family. They thought that was great, and I thought that was great. Kamala Harris did a really, really good job at kind of speaking like a normal person. And in this election season, where you've got 3 of the 4 people on the tickets, right, being old men who can't speak English properly, Kamala Harris really shines like a bright light in that environment because she speaks in that kind of like cool, hip, I'm a millennial too, kids kind of tone, right? And yeah, it can be cringy, but when you're up against human oatmeal, right? Like when you're up against a literal like sock drawer, right? Inside of a suit, it does a good job. Like if Kamala Harris is going up against Bernie Sanders, it's embarrassing, right? Like you're doing this whole charade when you can just endorse a bill that you already co-sponsored months ago, right? And that was embarrassing. But when you have Kamala Harris go up against this guy, it's a slam dunk. It's easy mode. And so again, as far as normal people are concerned, Kamala Harris destroyed this debate. There is no if, and, or but about it. Mike Pence is not charismatic. He's not cool. He's not fun. He didn't announce anything. He didn't get too controversial. When he decided to go after Kamala Harris's record, he focused on the best parts of her record instead of the worst parts of her record, which is ridiculous. And he did try to swerve a lot of the debate on her prosecutorial stances and on the arrests that she was potentially responsible for, but he didn't know enough of the details in order to actually get the job done, and his job there being to suppress and depress the Democratic electorate. That's not happening. If anything, he did the exact opposite. But, again, the primary objective was to say and do nothing controversial, right? And that's Trump's job. Trump's job is to make the blunders. Pence's job is to clean up the blunders. That's kind of how this goes. But I do think that Kamala Harris did a really good job. And again, I don't like her. I'm not a fan of her. Her politics are very gross, right? Another thing she did was she made front and center that she was going to decriminalize marijuana in all 50 states. And she also hinted, and should have expanded on more, the expungement of records and so forth, right? Like, she's hinting at like a giant reform in like the criminal code when it comes to drug use, especially particularly related to marijuana. She should have hammered into that more, but I get it, she's trying to thread a needle there. But that hit home a lot. I know a lot of people that are specifically and exclusively going to vote for Biden because they want decriminalized marijuana. Now, here's the thing. Donald Trump and Mike Pence could do that literally right now. They could do it like yesterday. They could do it like, if they got the idea to do it right now, say they're watching my broadcast, it could be done by the time noon hits. By lunchtime, they could have decriminalized or legalized marijuana in all 50 states, but they're not doing it. So it's one of those things where it's like a called out bluff, right? Trump could easily, and I'm not even joking when I say this, right? I am a weed user. I know a lot of weed users. A lot of weed users are relatively apolitical. I know they shouldn't be, right? But a lot of weed users are getting the message. Vote for Biden, and you don't have to worry about going to jail anymore. And I get it. I know. They're liars. They might not do it, right? But Donald Trump has been president for 4 years, and he hasn't legalized marijuana yet. So he's probably not going to do it. And even then, if he does do it, good, right? I want him to do it. If he calls out Biden's bluff and tries to do this as like a late October surprise, let's go, Trump. Let's go. I'll smoke a blunt in celebration, right? But that is, I think, and in my opinion, that is Kamala Harris's most popular grassroots policy. Rather, the Biden-Harris ticket's most popular grassroots policy. I get it. Their campaign is mostly funded by the idea that Trump is bad. They're mostly they're running on the fumes of Trump being terrible. They're running on the destruction of the Trump administration, right? But as far as bringing out people that aren't normally voters, decriminalizing marijuana is a huge step. And her actually openly advocating for that on the debate stage is awesome. That's absolutely tremendous. And a lot of people did not know that. Right now, it should, if they were good at marketing, it would be more in the headlines right now. More people would be getting this message. But either way, her mentioning that I thought was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, as far as the debate goes, again, I think that sums up my thoughts. It was a very surprisingly effective debate for the Biden-Harris ticket. And again, you've got Biden up 16 points in some polls, right? Trump's not going to win. There is no path to victory for Donald Trump. The only path to retaining the powers of the White House is through a legal or military coup. And let's be honest, it happened in 2000. It might happen again. So we have to brace for impact, and we have to prepare for what's going to happen, right? But as far as this election is concerned, this is all entertainment. Get your popcorn ready and have a good time, because this is just a clown show. This stuff doesn't matter. The election is over. Biden has won, right? He is the president-elect at this moment. And maybe I'll eat my words in 3 weeks. It's totally possible, right? But again, as of this moment, I don't see how it's possible that Biden would lose an election. Now, again, how he does not have, how he doesn't become the 46th president, I can see that happen. Right? But as far as the election goes, as far as any semblance of democracy, I know Mike Lee is very upset by that, but any semblance of democracy goes, the election's over. I don't know. The election's over. I don't know, man. But either way, the debate, I thought it was good for the Harris team, good for the Biden team. I don't think it moved anything. The people, like we have in the chat room, I am in the live chat right now for the show, is just going crazy in the chat room. You're on drugs. Pence yeah, the Trump people, they're not going to move. They drank the Kool-Aid. They're worshiping QAnon, right? They know that Mike Pence is uncharismatic, saying nothing in favor of them, has nothing to say about anything, and is just there to kill time. They get it, right? They're all playing their game, right? The Trumpers in my live stream chat, they're pawns on the chessboard, right? That's all they are. They know that they're that, and they're content being that, because they know that they'll never amount to anything in their lives, and their lives might as well just be wasted being virtual soldiers in a campaign for someone who doesn't give a flying fuck about them. And that's the Trump campaign in a nutshell. They don't give a flying fuck about you. And Kamala Harris being able to consistently twist that against Mike Pence with ease was actually really well. Again, clearly what you're doing isn't working. I think that was the best line of the evening. And I wish I had that. If someone wants to get me on that audio clip, that would be great. because clearly that was a dunk and a half right there. That was a dunk and a half. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the VP debate. Let me read some comments here. Maybe they're trying to keep the marijuana stuff low key, so more Republican people who aren't going to vote for Trump don't get scared away. I think that that's the case, Itor, but it's a bad electoral strategy. G Wolf says, never underestimate the ability of the Democrats to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm not underestimating their ability to do that, but I don't think that they can do that more than Trump. Like, if it's a race and shooting yourselves in the foot, I think Trump has that on lock. I don't, really, again, the 2016 election was who can, they both can't swim and they're both in the middle of the ocean. Who can survive the longest? That was the 2016 campaign. The 2020 campaign is Donald Trump has an anchor tied to his ankle and they both can't swim, and who can survive the longest? That's the 2020 campaign. And so I don't know. I don't think so. Hello, Arisiamali Trifilum. I'm so sorry about my pronunciation of your name, but I think you're a new user, so welcome. Samia says, I'm hoping the legal cannabis issue will get some non-voters out of the House to vote for Biden. Yeah, if you know anybody that smokes weed and they're not a voter, or they're not, you don't know anything about their voting record, tell them, hey, vote for Biden. They're going to decriminalize weed. Get that clip of Kamala Harris talking about it at the debate. You're good to go. Get that person. That's an easy motivator. Easy motivator. Dev J says, I hope the U.S. finally legalized marijuana. At some point, yes, that's inevitable. So narcos in Mexico will finally be gone. If crackheads in the U.S. stopped consuming them, Mexico will be a peaceful country again. That is a very important point. The drug war does not just have ramifications in the United States. It has ramifications abroad, not just in Mexico, but in all of Latin America as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, as far as the VP debate goes, I think it was honestly a destruction. I don't see how an undecided voter who is under the age of 60 is going to watch this debate and go Mike Pence has some good points. I don't see that happening. I'm sorry. Or maybe if they're under the age of 60 and they're racist or whatever, they're probably not an undecided voter, right? But if they're an undecided voter under the age of 60, Kamala Harris got their vote. Or Kamala Harris got their vote, or they're still voting for nobody. Right? That's the idea.